Sort of the old adage is if you have a great day climbing and you come home and you have a wonderful dinner, you remember the dinner. If you have a good day climbing and you come home and have a bad supper, you remember the bad supper.
I call what we experienced at the GMC like bougie backcountry camping and mountaineering, in that the amenities there are so comforting in an environment that could be so challenging.
Over the years, what has made it largely a very fun place to be is the actual setup crew and the manager, Chucky, and Brad before Chucky, have created a very comfortable atmosphere.
A lot of people love to climb mountains and they perhaps don't have the capability to do so. And by going to the GMC, they have access to guides and amateur leaders who can get them up those peaks that they otherwise might not be able to.
Well, some of the things that the GMC really has up there is it's a small village, right? We've got a industrial-sized kitchen out of a wall tent. We've got shower tents, outhouses that are dug by hand. So it's a lot of work. And then you've got your own tent set up there, as well as common areas. You've got a dry tent as well as a tea tent, which is plastered with posters, maps, and books and history of the place as well, of where we have been from one GMC to the other.
You've got incredible cooks who are not only amazing humans, they're coming up with new recipes for us all the time. The food's incredible and it's there for us before we leave for our adventures and when we return.
If there's someone with dietary needs, from if you're vegan to vegetarian, gluten-free, celiac. And then we also have a few occurrences where we have some really severe dietary issues. There is one individual who will be coming up this year and they haven't ever been able to do a camp, ever, because of their dietary needs. And they very rarely even get to go on adventures. And I just actually called her last week and we had a good conversation and we've made a plan and now they're feeling really comfortable about coming. So it's really nice that we can give them that, comfort that we've got your back.
So you don't even have to worry about, what food you're gonna bring, having all of your kit in terms of your tent. You just land and it's there for you.
We have a whole structure at the campsite that takes care of all of that, so that all you get to do is wake up, go hiking or climbing, come back, enjoy some really good meals, sleep, and do it day after day.
What's really unique about this style of camp is that every year it's a different location.
Just selecting camp locations is definitely one of my most enjoyable and favorite things. We're so lucky and blessed to live where we do in this mountainous area. We go to places where are not that accessible. So in other words, if you and I tried to hike in there, it would probably be daunting. It could be done, but this way you get to do it comfortably because we have an economy of scale. We have weeks of people who can help support set up that camp.
Getting to any of those locations usually starts with an hour and a half to 3 hours drive on logging roads to get you away from the front country. After that, a 5 to 10 minute helicopter ride to get you to the bottom of a glacier and to valleys which probably the last time they've been fully explored is the 1970s and 80s. We tend to pick venues that are not easily gotten to and that are in the corners of some of our BC tenure that aren't really explored that often. So guidebooks are pretty minimal information about routes and all that. Our week 1 and week 2 really are setting a trend. We try to catalog and do really strong route descriptions to help each week find their own adventures. As the weeks progress, glaciers melt out, snow changes the landscape, and access to certain peaks either becomes easier or harder. Each week, although you have information from the previous one, the routes change, the adventures change.
I think one of the interesting aspects of the camp is many people do not have the availability to go day after day after day for 7 days to go and climb. And that is phenomenal because then you get to do a lot, your skills improve. It's an awesome trip that way.
One of the cool things was you go to these camps and you're there for a long time. People typically go in and they climb a specific climb. Right, they're looking for that. But when you're there all for weeks at a time, you find all these traverses or something. And unless you actually went there and did it and saw how much fun it was, you probably wouldn't even look at it. It's like being an animal. You got to live somewhere to figure out all the little perks.
I think of the GMC as a kind of build your own adventure. On a day-to-day basis, you wake up and you have the opportunity to explore different areas of the area you're already in. So you get to pick from different objectives. And if you see one during the week that you're not sure about, but then you maybe want to do it, you can talk to the other individuals who have already done that objective and get feedback. So it is very multifaceted in that it lets you kind of be the engineer of your exploration.
The people who want to go and experience thrilling, rugged mountaineering have that option, but the people who come more interested in artistic objectives spend less time climbing and more time painting. Generally speaking, in these camps, you are right up underneath the glaciers. So you might be painting one glacier in front of you, but there's another one right over there, and then there's another one right behind you. And this is a rare opportunity to get up and paint so high and so remote that there's no way you could carry all your gear up there as a plein air painter. I would never have the opportunity to get under the glaciers, and it's a new experience for me to be so close and like to touch the glacier and you paint them. They're spectacular, and they've influenced some of the things that I put into my paintings. I absolutely love the crashing glacial streams. They're just raging down and they're milky, they're kind of a unique color. And the way they change during the course of the day as the melting increases, it's like really kind of moving. With art as your primary objective, just be aware that there will be easier objectives and that you don't have to be a serious mountaineer in order to have a very rich experience.
After setup, we kind of sit back and take a look at the camp and figure out the little personal touches now that we want to add that last half day or day that we have before we hand it over to clients. And then watching these first people come off the helicopter and looking at this village that's waiting to be inhabited, waiting for adventures to happen. I love that transition of the first, but also every week of people coming up there. They're slowly getting on and making this place their own.